Welcome back, everyone. Justices deciding by a 6-3 vote that Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 does, in fact, protect LGBTQ workers from workplace discrimination. I want to bring in Alfonso David, president of the Human Rights Campaign. Mr. David, it's great to have you with us. First of all, our own Pete Williams called this a stunning decision. Others are using the word a landmark decision. What are you calling it?
This is a landmark decision. It definitely is for LGBTQ people all across this country. LGBTQ people have been protected by federal civil rights laws. Federal courts have issued ruling after ruling after ruling, and yet this case was presented to the U.S. Supreme Court, and the underlying question was, does federal civil rights law protect LGBTQ people from being fired at their jobs? And the short answer that the Supreme Court issued only less than an hour ago is yes. Federal law does protect LGBTQ people from being discriminated against at work, and no one should be denied a job or fired simply because of who they love and who they are. So this is a landmark victory for LGBTQ equality.
As you know, the vote 6-3, with the decision being written by Justice Neil, or the ruling, I should say, being written by Justice Neil Gorsuch, who was appointed by President Trump. And I think a lot of people may find that to be surprising. What does that say to you?
That says to me, and I've been saying this for a while, we have to remember and believe in the rule of law. There is something called the rule of law, and these justices who are in the majority acknowledged and honored the rule of law. For the past 20 years, LGBTQ people have relied on federal law to protect them from being fired at their jobs. And the court today said you can continue relying on that case law. Stare decisis, judicial precedent means something. There is a rule of law that governs how we act as citizens and residents of this country. And the court is honoring that today. So I am deeply, deeply proud that the court stood up, rose up, and defended stare decisis.
We know the fight for full equality in this country is still a long ways off for the LGBTQ community. What is next on the front lines in that fight? What are the more important cases that you are watching that need to be adjudicated?
Well, we are working both in the judicial branch as well as in the executive branch, and we are also focused on this coming election in November. We are pushing as hard as possible to make sure that we elect a pro-equality candidate, Joe Biden, as president of the United States, and we're also seeking to seize back the Senate. We are pushing a piece of legislation called the Equality Act. The Equality Act would further enshrine these protections into federal law, and we think it's important so we never have to have this debate again. And we're pushing that and making sure that LGBTQ people don't have to worry about being fired from their job or being discriminated against in other public spaces. Because remember, we need to make sure that we are protected in all facets of our lives. I shouldn't be denied access to a dentist because I'm LGBTQ, or a transportation hub or retail establishment. And so we're fighting to make sure that LGBTQ people are protected in all facets of their lives. And that is, for us, the next work that we have to do.
Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. Why don't you subscribe? It's really easy. Just click on that button down there. And for more news from MSNBC, click on any of these videos here for the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more videos from MSNBC with our newsletters. Head over to msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up.